From flight to booking, how our data transform hotels' revenue. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Hype, the travel tech blog. And today, in a data-driven world, of course, where each data point is becoming crucial to optimize revenue strategy and distribution, I wanted to have this episode, these particular topics, discussing how our data is, can be injected into the revenue management, how hotels today can, leverage those information, those data within their revenue management strategy. This is Enzo Aita from Hyperguest, and welcome everyone. So during the live, if you have questions, comments, feel free, to share your thoughts in LinkedIn comment space. If there is any particular question, I'll be happy to share this on the live show directly to the guest speaker, which actually is a very good friend of mine, Alessandro Lopiano from E23. Hi, Alessandro. Good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon, Enzo. All good, all good. Very happy
All
to
right.
be here. Thanks a lot for being inviting me to this challenging, interesting conversation.
Right, Ale. Before we step into the conversation, just a quick introduction about yourself, how E23 was born, why it's there today, and what is your ambition?
Yeah, so I'm the CEO and founder of E23 Retail. So E23 Retail today is a disruptive company in the travel tech. And basically, we have designed and have a system up and running that is able to profile traveler audience and provide so this data and insight to several travel stakeholders. Okay, so give the ability to really understand who are the people arriving in certain airport destination in real time, so that we can really predict all the major passenger flow to purchase. So actually, we can tell brands a lot of insights on their audiences and on the travelers.
That looks interesting. So I take flight frequently. That means that I will be targeted through your tool, and everyone will know how I move within the airport, where I'm flying to, those information related to. This is very, interesting. But let's go in more detail in trying to understand how, this may help, the hospitality industry in general.
Yes.
So hotels really on market trends, but isn't that just guess without flight data? I mean, how can they use real data to price smart, by using those information?
Yes, basically the hotel hospitality industry is, we discover, is one of our key markets. Of course, it's not the only market we serve. And in particular, we noticed that most of the revenue management system software and hotels rely on market trend analysis. So what is basically past? So they are actually planning and forecast demand based on on the past, and it's like driving and looking at the review mirror. What we're gonna do actually, they are missing an important piece of information, because what they are missing is knowing who gonna be actually the people arriving tomorrow in the city. Okay, so at E23 we solve this problem, and we actually provide real-time passenger profiles with a 5 minutes update frequency. So at the end of the day, we are able to provide to hotels precise data on who and when is arriving in that airport at city destination, what's their income level, their price sensitivity. We can, for example, isolate travelers with return tickets versus filter out the citizen, so people that are arriving because of live there. And if they are business traveler, leisure traveler, we can estimate the length of stay. So basically what we're doing, actually, we are blending air traffic data with profiling data. So social demographic data, travel behavior data, and consumer behavior data. For example, the price sensitivity is a key feature that tell to hotels the spending habit and the spending power of the audience that is going to arrive in the city. So let's have an example.
One thing, sorry, Alessandro, to interrupt you. So, because of course, during the introduction, I was referring in particular to revenue, but of course, this is not only for revenue; it's also useful for marketing, right?
Yes, totally. It's not only revenue because it's an overall contribution to the hotel business strategy because it's of course have an impact on revenue management but in terms of pricing and promo that you can plan, but also marketing because basically knowing your audience, so your actual passenger mix, so the actual passenger mix, so who are the people arriving, you can actually plan highly targeting campaigns. Okay, so that you can also decide which touch points you want to activate to target those travelers. If you want to target them at pre-trip phase, during in flights, in airport, or basically when they arrive, when they land, so that you can really first segment your audience and then really understand which are the channel to target those people. So that at the end of the day, the result of this is that your marketing campaign become more cost efficient because you know each of the touch points, how much contributes in terms of cost, and also we can measure also the ROI of the campaign, so to see each touch point, how impact on the sales contribution. So at the end of the day, the ultimate goal of all our customers is to have a measurable sales growth and improve the conversion. So what we call we want to optimize the passenger flow to purchase. That's our mission. That's our key objective within E23.
So it looks like everyone wants those passengers spend money somehow, you know. This is a very big pressure. Anyway, so very interesting. And let's move to the next question. Hotels and airline are in the same game, yet hotels in your flight data. Why are they so behind and what's the cost of this?
Well, I mean, that's probably a legacy problem, and it's something that is going since years is working like that because hospitality industry have been always working and operated in silos. So from one hand, you have like hotels with their own data, their own activities, and on the other side, you have airlines. So what is missing actually is a bridge, a data bridge between the two worlds. So actually, in our company, we are solving this data gap. So probably this data gap is happened because of so far there was not real technology able to bridge this data gap between airlines and hotels, so that hotels actually are losing a lot of opportunity because basically the bridge wasn't there. Today we are bridging the hotel world with the airlines world. Well, the cost of not doing that we notice is huge because we have, from one hand, we have like the missing revenue opportunity because by the fact that you don't adjust your pricing, promo, and marketing towards your real actual audience, this can ultimately means like leaving something between 15-20% of revenue on the table. But on the other side, there is even a bigger cost because by don't doing that, you might be behind in terms of real competition, okay? Because all your marketing won't be optimized. You have like a misallocation of resources, and ultimately you have a reduced profitability because you know that anytime there is a data gap within your journey, your travel customer journey, a data gap means a loss of money.
Yeah,
and
sure,
actually
sure.
lose of control, so losing of profitability, and while solving this data gap, gonna open an immense opportunity in terms of revenue, higher profitability, better customer service, and best understanding of your customer. I mean, so many opportunity.
One
So we are
curiosity,
solving-
this is, well, I have a curiosity, this is just, if you have this information, so otherwise, never mind. So, of course, when you travel, you can get to the destination a different way. You have a flight, train, car, I don't know, cruise. There are different way. How do you know from by looking at this different way to get to a destination, how flight in terms of percentage represent which is lies represent the flight mode. I mean, it's 20% of people arriving in that destination is coming through flight, and I don't know, another percentage through car. Do you have this in mind, more or less? It's something you handle?
Well, of course, a flight is the largest part of travel. Okay, traveler. Then, of course, it change from country to country, but today flight is dominant. Indeed, even in the travel retail, that travel retail include several hubs because include like airport, station, cruises. Let's say that 90% of revenue in the travel retail are done inside airports. So this means that travel is the most used means of transportation, and this is also the journey that where traveler have the highest spending power. So our traveler are the consumer that spend the most. Okay, so they're very high spending pattern. So this is an audience that hotel must capture for sure, because it's an audience that is coming to your destination, is super captivated, and is ready to spend money. And you need to know them. You need to know them, and actually, you need to know not just the traffic information. So how many flights, how many passengers are arriving in your destination, but actually who are these people? So what behaviors they have? Are they business, leisure? Are they female? Are they male? Are they sensitive to promotion or are non-sensitive to promotion? So they fly in business class or they fly via budget carrier, and so on and so forth. So the more you know, the better you address your marketing and revenue
Sure,
strategy.
sure.
in its-
So let's assume that an hotel is not to get your flight data tomorrow. And
Yeah.
actually, this question is not open only for you. Anyone is watching, especially if you are in the revenue space. What's the first move to boost revenue? I mean, how do you leverage those data right now if you have those data within your hotel?
Well, first of all, is segmentation refinement. So via our system, you can immediately build your target personas. So understand who are actually the people arriving in your destination predictively. So you know what's going to be the situation tomorrow, in a week ahead, in a month ahead, up to 365 days ahead. That's the possibility and capability of our system. So that you can basically, with our flight intelligence, you can basically enhance this audience segmentation with real-time passenger profiles. Okay, so you know who are the people, the profiles of people arriving to your place, to your destination. And then second step is that first actionable insight can be like creating correlation between your current pricing and promo strategy and the mix of passenger coming to your destination. And look at the mismatch. Is my pricing correct to address this value traveler audience that is coming to my destination? For example, you might discover that in certain weekdays, there is a high percentage of overrepresented audience of from 28 to 31 age, women, business traveler, with longer stays than assumed. So that this insight alone can help you to adjust, first of all, your rate, but also to create dedicated promo for this overrepresented audience. Okay? So that with our system, we have, first of all, real-time alerts that give you alerts on detected event in the destination. For example, a change of flight schedule, a cancellation, and many other alerts. And then give you some price versus audience compatibility scores to create basically the best promo, the best on-demand service offering, and the best pricing. So the idea is to increase your conversion towards this audience. Okay, I don't know if it's
One
clear.
point, yeah, no, this is excellent. This is more on a predictive perspective, I would say. But nowadays, anyway, in revenue, it's also relevant to understand okay, this is my predictive. I was look like this predictive last year. So it is also possible to compare those data with the previous, period of arrivals in the, I don't know, 1 year before. I mean, just to understand, okay, are those traveler arriving my destination increasing or decreasing? And then of course understanding the profile of those traveler, if are the same type of traveler from last year or if something has changed. I don't know. Comparing those data with historical information is super relevant in the hotels. Can
Yes,
this tool, your information, help also in measure, and compare historical data?
yes, yes, indeed. So far, I very much stress on the predictive side of our system because I think is the game changer in terms of views information. However, we have a free way to deliver these traveler profiling data, which is in prediction up to 360 days in advance, real time for real time adjustment or even last minute promo, whatever is like a real time need for the hotel, and historically up to 1 year before. So that, of course, answering to your question, you can do such a correlation between what happened in the past and what is going to happen, what is happening in this moment, and what is going to happen in the future. So we have all the time frame horizon. Just to give you an idea that probably is less relevant for the hotel business, but in general, show you the capability of our system. Our algorithm for traveling profile is able to bound traveler in time and space so that we can actually tell you this specific audience, where is it now and where it gonna be, let's say in 1 month's ahead, in a specific area of the airport zone. Imagine. So we can tell you that in 1 week, in this specific terminal or even gate or even area of XY European or US airport, you're going to have an overrepresented audience of women, age 21, 41, business traveler, with an estimated length of stay of 10 days, with a very low price sensitivity, and so on and so forth, alongside all our data taxonomy. So this is huge because this can help you in many ways and can help many stakeholders from the travel business to plan their communication, their messaging, their promo, their pricing. Basically, they can actually knows everything in and out of where people from where people are coming, where they are arriving, where they are in a certain moment, and who they are.
So
And
I
what
know that you are currently serving not only hotels, travel tech space, but you also deal within actually retails in the airport, right? Can you just give us some story, some example on how you, I mean, how those retail shops, duty free, and they are leveraging those data?
Yeah, I mean, one of the best use case to leverage this data is like for media planning optimization within the travel retail. So by knowing basically in a very profiled way and segmented way this audience, knowing them in advance, okay, and knowing also in which section and area of the airport they're going to be or they are, we can plan a perfect campaign along the entire traveler journey. So from pre-trip, so how we going to organize them with newsletter, how we're going to touch them with all the tools that are available from a pre-trip phase in airport up to when they arrive in store. Okay, so that we can follow and target the traveler along all the entire travel journey and see each of the activated media touch points how much and how contribute in terms of cost and in terms of return on advertising spend, so that we can really give sales attribution model so for every euro invested along all the available 15, 20 different travel advertising touch point, how each touch point is contributed to target these specific profiles and how it's contributing for the conversion.
I
So that's
remember
huge.
you. I remember you gave me some story about we are advancing in this kind of targeting and profiling, including when people take items from the show in those shops. They, for example, they go in the perfume shop, they take a perfume, they put it back. So you understand also in terms of how many people buy or not buying. Tell me a little bit about this. It was very curious.
No, yes, yes. Well, of course, to make sure that we have this advanced profiling system, we need to cross-reference a lot of data. Okay, a lot of data and a lot of different like sources. Okay, one key source is like tracking the consumer behavior at shelf in the retail environment. So basically, tracking how people behave in front of a point of sales in terms of like interaction with a specific product. So if they touch it, if they pick it up or put it back. So today with this system, we basically are able to profile the buyer, so people that actually take a product and bring and buy, but also the non-buyer, so people that pick up a product and put back, and for some reason they don't buy. So giving actionable insight to the brands for their in-store activity and media and promotion activity. Because via profiling the non-buyer, we can have a lot of insights and help brands to really increase the conversion and attract more customers than before.
So this is a crazy fun. I'm already looking at this way those shops are tracking, so they can measure how many people are entering in the shop. Then, out from those number of people, how many actually touch the product, how many of those are putting back the product, how many of them are buying the product. So this is a perfect combination, of data, right?
Yes, and also imagine then to aggregate over 50 million shopper interaction with products from different categories, from fast-moving goods, spirits, and beauty, and so on and so forth. So that how we could build, information also valuable for hotel, for revenue management software, for DMOs, and for many other travel brands on consumer behavior and spending pattern and price sensitivity. So we know if someone is sensitive to a beauty promo, to a spirits promo, or is non-sensitive, if this message converts or not. And then we can translate it as a general pattern on how these people behave during the travel journey. So that this information is gold for DMO, but is also gold for hotel chain, is gold for anyone that want to basically maximize the revenue per guest or the spending per guest.
Sure. Let's move with hotels again. Most hotels look backward to forecast demand. How can flight data help them stay ahead of the game?
All right. So yeah, basically, okay, looking back is actually, I have like a kind of metaphor, is like looking back is like driving a car, looking all the time on the rear view mirror. Okay, so the result of this type of driving is 100% crashing. Okay, I mean, there's no doubt that you're gonna crash. So what we're gonna help hotel to do is like looking at, so looking in and have a forward looking and to see insights before they're gonna happen. Okay, so that in this way you can really plan your strategy not just on what happened last March. So for sure this March gonna happen the same plus, but we're gonna tell you exactly who are the passengers that have booked and gonna arrive in months ahead, 2 months ahead, 3 months ahead in your
To how many
destination.
months you can read those data? Sorry, up to 12 months?
Up to 12 months, exactly. So they are booking, flight booking. So we know, for example, the flight booking, so the purpose of travel, the income levels of these travelers, even how many days prior to their stay they book the flight. So the lead time of flight booking, which is key. If you correlate these with the lead time of hotel booking, give you an immense.
So I know how many days they before book the flight. So I have, I don't know, 2 months time to run my campaign. I take
Exactly.
those information.
Exactly.
I remember you mentioned something like, I don't know if you already discussed this, but about the newsletter or the email acquisition, that you have the possibility also to, build specific campaign, follow-up email, stuff like that, right?
Exactly.
Got it.
But maybe one thing I want to reassure my audience today is that the beauty of this system is that is integrates directly into your RMS. That's the game change. So it's not like another system that you need to add in your current strategy. So an additional process that complicates your life.
I mean, the hotel can decide. They can have their own tool, watching data flight, or they can inject those and feed those data within the RMS, right?
Exactly. Within the UI of the RMS, exactly.
So in this way, they have in one place all the relevant information. That's the right logic, right?
Of course, depends if the hotel is a small one or a bigger one. Probably if it's a single accommodation that has already a powerful RMS, the best is to just inject this in the current RMS service and have alerts and actionable insight to improve their strategy. Maybe if we're talking about a large hotel chain, we might think to customize everything for them and using our API.
Why do you think hotels are underestimated those data still? Probably, I don't know, you're having conversation with hotels, independent chain. Just give us some feedback about the current, conversation you're having with those, players. And in general, when I was, in a revenue management conversation, of course, as much data you have, as much, power in the hand you can play with, right? But at some point, for a budget restriction or for culture or for technical reason, whatever, sometimes flight data are underestimated. So it's a kind of nice to have. Why are they completely wrong?
Well, first of all, because we need to rename everything, because so far the industry maybe have been looking at flight data, which is not even the correct word, because flight data to me means traffic data. It's not that innovative, because you can have traffic data, and of course this flight data has a cost because it's not free, but give you just infos on traffic information. So general traffic to a destination. Maybe you have origin, destination data, some nationalities, that's it. So far, hotels and hotel tech company never had access to profiling data of travelers that fly and are transported with airlines, okay, which is what we do. So we are actually providing to hotels, not even flight data, but traveler profiling data, audience data, of people traveling with flights. This can be extended also to people traveling with cars, or could be in the future extended to people traveling with the train. These are already development that we have in roadmap. But so far is actually, do you want to know when and who gonna be arriving tomorrow in your destination, and how is profile this person? So which characteristic this person has alongside the entire data taxonomy that we have. And of course, if this is actionable and this is easy to ingest, every hotel should say yes. Why not? It's not a nice to have. It is absolutely essential, because this is actually knowing your customer, is knowing your customer in advance, not after the checkout. So you know your customer even before he's boarding, when he's booking a flight. It's a must. But doesn't happen so far, because so far probably the hotel hospitality have looked at general traffic data, which I agree are enough to have, because I probably focus on more relevant data than just having data about traffic, which is not that meaningful, I believe. But in this case, traveler profiling become essential, because it's actually knowing your customer, who is going to arrive tomorrow. And you don't act anymore blindfolded. And this touching all your business, from revenue management, promo, marketing, even operation. Because if you know that in your city there's been a big cancellation of a flight of 5 aircraft carrying on business travelers that are stuck in the airport, so that they will gonna be injected in the next 2 hours to your city, you can plan your food and beverage to welcome them, or you can do a last minute promo to attract them and convert them, because you know that anyhow they're gonna be injected in your city in the next 2 hours. So this is gonna impact in boosting your sales spikes, because probably in the next 6 hours, you're gonna have a surge of sales because you have been converted this audience before anybody else. Because while your competitors don't know this, because they don't have the data, you have an alert in your RMS system, so you can make a promo and you can attract and convert them. So actually, via the system, you are ahead your competition. Of course, at some point, when this becomes a standard, the hotels not doing that gonna be left behind. I mean, 100% sure. So this is gonna be the next way of imagining and running revenue management. Gonna be the future. It's gonna be the future for sure.
All right, Ale, we are at the end. Just, last words. If you want to invite someone to, get to know more about your product. So I was actually sharing your website. So first of all, let me pick it back again. Here we are. So your website is e23retail.com. So everyone is watching now or later the recording and is interested to get to know more about E23. This is the website. Okay, they can get in touch with Alessandro Lopiano via LinkedIn. But last words. So basically, you are trying now you have already, I would say, consolidate your positioning within the retail space in the airport. Now your objective is to expand and grow more within the travel tech space. One word you would like to say to RMS out there?
Yeah, well, first of all, I love the hotel business because I built my knowledge and experience back in the day when I was a little bit younger than now in the hotel business. So I have a big love for the hotel business, and I want to, of course, give value to this industry that I love the most. So I think it's a no-brainer to get in touch with us, knowing a little bit more about our system, how you can integrate with us if you are an hotel chain or you are an RMS. And then it's all about discussing your use cases and get it started. I mean, it's not even crazy. I mean, it's so easy. And we already work with some early adopter from the hospitality, and we see an immediate traction among some leading RMS companies and leading hotel groups, and we already see that this is something that's gonna be the next coming futures. We're actually building co-products together with these companies, so that we can serve better the entire hospitality world. And even the small individual hotel gonna benefit from this technology. So we are not forgetting anyone. So by helping the RMS, the hotel groups, we actually gonna help as well the small individual property to bring their customer understanding and customer intelligence
to the next level.
To the next level, because all that is actually something that otherwise you just leave in the table. Is an important piece of information. Is a data gap that you need to fill in. For sure.
All right, Ale. Thanks for your time. Thanks the audience. Again, if they want to reach out to you,
LinkedIn is the best channel. LinkedIn is the best channel. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Alessandro. Thanks for your time, and looking forward to your success, man.
Thank you, man. See you soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.